Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo Podcast. I'm Joey Calvo. Please continue to help the victims of the Texas floods and the California wildfires. They do still need our help as well. So today we have Cindy Koehler, and just bear with me because I have to get to my cheat sheet here. She's a straight-talking, big-hearted coach who doesn't just talk about change, she's lived it. After decades of building a successful academic and professional career, Cindy found herself questioning the path that she was on. Like so many of us, she was ticking the boxes, but filling out the alignment. That wake-up call launched a deep journey into identity, purpose, and practical manifestation, leading to her becoming one of Australia's most sought-out mindset coaches. Cindy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Joey. It's after 15 years and delivering over 10,000 hours of mindset coaching and education to elite professionals, business owners and individuals, helping them create great lives and spectacular businesses. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the podcast and the live viewing with you here today. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so what led to where we're at? What got Cindy interested in towards being a mindset coach?
Great question, Joey. I became fascinated with the mind when I had a significant car accident when I was 21 years old. Mm-hmm. And essentially I spent the time in hospital having some surgery on my nose. And at that time, the surgeon that was involved spoke about the amount of pain relief that I was getting, and it wasn't enough. And so I was spending time post-surgically in a large amount of pain. And at that time, there was in the ward, there was a Buddhist nun there, and she had some friends coming to visit her. And one of the nuns saw that I was in a significant amount of pain. They sat with me and they taught me a simple breath meditation that enabled me to actually control my pain to a level that made it really manageable. And in that moment, when I did realise that this mindset piece and the meditation piece was so powerful to decrease this level of pain and make it manageable for me, I thought this is something really interesting. So, for basically nearly 40 years, I've been studying, researching, reading, teaching, practicing meditation, mindfulness, mindset, and that I think is a key piece in my life that goes throughout my other 25 years in business and 20 years in education. It's a very powerful piece.
Okay. And so you were in an accident, a car accident that started the journey towards where you're at right now. In your notes, I mean, you state you're a great storyteller, and so tell us more about, as from the accident, even if you wind up repeating what you just said, but from the accident up to where we're at right now, up to that first step of becoming a mindset coach.
I don't think it's been sort of, this immediate piece. I think, like I said, after I started studying mindfulness and mindset and being in that space and practicing meditation every day, I spent a lot of time studying Buddhism and looking at the applications of that in life. And I had a 20-year education career as well. In secondary as well as tertiary, as well as registered training organisations around the world. And I also retrained myself to study allied therapies as well as business in that space. So I would say at this point in time, working with clients at the moment, they kind of get that 40 years experience of the mindset and the meditation and all of my practices that are backed in science, neuroscience, as well as great data. So we identify key techniques that actually work in a moment's notice, a large amount of them in under 60 seconds to bring about calmness. So, there is that piece. But there's also the combination of having the business as well as having the education. So the coaching kind of fits within that triangulation of those three bodies of work that I've worked with.
Okay. And so kind of give an example of a success story that you can tell. Like, from about in reference to the clients that you've served.
Yeah, well, like I said, in over these 15 years, Mind Garage, the business, has worked with hundreds of individuals as well as teams around Australia and internationally. And success stories can range from particular teams that when we get businesses that grow quickly and they bring together different teams. You might have a large organisation going around purchasing smaller businesses, and then you're left with a bit of a hodgepodge of teams, and they're not quite sure where they're at. So one of the things I deliver is in that space, getting everybody on the same page, looking at being of the same values, looking at functioning together with behaviours, looking at them bringing a mindset of creating whatever the North Star is, or whatever the vision is for that business.
Right.
So there's some businesses that are incredibly successful in that space. Stories of clients, for example, about 3 weeks ago, one of my clients wrote $112,000 in new business in just 1 week, and that was kind of 3 weeks after they'd started working with me. And one of the key things they wanted to shift was this scarcity mindset that they had. So we had to look at how we could embrace new beliefs around the abundance mindset and helping them to sort of step into that space. And that meant that they were able to start to really look at their sales processes, and they switched the business around incredibly quickly. I've had businesses, young business owner who achieved their 8-month financial goal in just 8 weeks. I've had someone bring on 14 new contracts in their first 2 weeks of working with me. So look, there's many different examples of client success stories that I could talk about over the years. Professional athletes that have achieved world success at the world level. Confidence in that space.
Okay, I'm going to ask for your permission for your expertise on this. The reason why I'm asking this is one thing. Right now, I'm unemployed. Okay, and my unemployment's running out. So I'm trying. I've been working on this casino bus service. Okay, to here in the Philadelphia, USA area.
Yep.
And I mean, the idea is great. I mean, I have people saying it's a great idea because there's no buses here in Philadelphia that go to the casinos. But in reference to getting funded, the credit scores kill it. So, like right now, if I could work on my credit scores and have the money to do it, I'd be fine with it, But like I just said, I'm not working, and I'm meeting with people left and right in reference to it and working on how to improve everything to get funding, but the the credit scores are killed. What would be an idea on how to get around the credit part? I know you can't really get around the credit part per se unless you get grants and stuff, but how can I'm not losing focus with it, just to let you know. Okay. How can I really build strength into showing investors that, and I had a business plan, so I sent it out and so on. But how can I improve the chances of getting, investors?
You're essentially looking at joint venture capital, correct?
something like that. Even if I have to give a percentage to the company to do it, I'm willing to do it at this point because I'm on my wit's end per se. So, but yes, joint venture capital would be one great thing.
I think when you're having a look at any joint venture exercise, you have to have a look at the win-win situation for all parties involved. So, I think you have to have your figures very well established and well researched, and you probably have to have some runs on the boards in terms of having a look at what other people are doing in that space, so that you have evidence of the effectiveness of the strategy that you're trying to apply to them. So that would be one of the things that I would be having a look at to say that, maybe there's someone else in another state doing it.
Yeah.
I'm sure somewhere over in Arizona, there's some people doing that sort of thing as well. And probably the key people that I would be approaching would be the casinos themselves, because they're going to directly benefit from the people that you bring to them, and or the franchises that are within that casino, if it's one complex, or if there's other areas and other complexes that you can use. The other alignment could be travel organisations and agencies, because they may be able to include within their packages. I'd be having a conversation with them. But I think the key thing is, if you're going to ask for funding for something, there needs to be a win-win situation for everybody, and evidence that the strategy is proven to be bringing money in. So it's a bit hard when you don't have the capital to get it off.
Right.
You have to find some other way of, like I said, doing some research to say, look, over here they used this, they did this. Yeah. This was the initial startup costs. These are the running costs. Yeah. These are the ongoing outgoings or cost of goods. Here's the the wage that I put in for myself. Here's the percentage that I'm offering in that space. And I'd say you probably have to offer a larger percentage of the business in that space, and then you're taking a smaller piece. So does that give you some ideas?
I mean, it does. Like I said, I want to reach out to a venture capitalist and set, and do a Shark Tank type thing of presenting the business and saying, hey, I'm willing to, go 30% of the business, for $250,000. Mm-hmm. And then, I would have to figure out how to, work that, but in reference to it, I want to do something like a Shark Tank type thing. I actually, right now, I'm working with the local small business development centers right now. I just set up another meeting for next week in reference to that, to sit down with them and work on everything I had. My business plan wasn't the greatest to some of them. So, they're going to work on improving that. And then once they improve that, then they can turn around and say, okay, well, let's work on this. And because I showed numbers of, if 25 people bought tickets, how much would I make and so on, like a profit line, to see where I would be able to profit and where I would start losing money. Now, in reference to the casinos, I have one casino lined up already in reference to it. But right now, I think in reference to the company itself, once I put that application in, I may just be able to do what's called charter runs, of course, where, like group packages where groups go up at a time instead of individual, and they, when the group goes up, the group leader gets a certain amount, and then everybody else gets a certain amount plus, maybe plus $5 food voucher, or unless something was arranged before they came up, something like that.
I think you probably need to build out the model.
Oh, I just lost her. Okay. I don't know if Cindy was uncomfortable with that question in reference to it, or but she just disconnected, or something did not go right, and I'm waiting to find out. Let's see if she comes back on. If she doesn't come back on, I'm sorry. That's why I asked permission first before I, asked it. So let's see if she comes back on. If not, I'm going to hear about it in an email. I also, if you look at, in the meantime, in the video description, I started putting up some GoFundMe campaigns of two people that I kind of spoke with today. And then my two, right now, like I had said, I'm unemployed right now. And the unemployment is about to run out next week. So, I'm doing what I can, but at the same time, I am asking you, the viewers, to please share the GoFundMes. One is for myself personally. The other one is for this podcast, because this podcast is starting to pick up a little bit in reference to in reference to guests, and hopefully we can expand it to other areas. I did mention in the ticker. I did mention that I had a meeting with the World Broadcast Network TV that serves Roku and Apple TV and all that. And they're willing to bring us on. We just have to pay a certain amount a month. So I'm raising money to do that, because I'd like to expand this podcast on TV and be able to get more viewers and build up a nice little. I think Cindy is not coming back. So, and I apologize to her if she's listening, or to her representative. I truly apologize. Like I said, I asked permission first before I said, I made my statement. So, but definitely, please help support the Texas floods, the California wildfires, and this podcast, as well as, of course, myself, in reference to the GoFundMe's on the bottom, and the two people that I mentioned in there with their GoFundMe's. At least share them on your social media. That's all I could ever ask. So I would appreciate that at least. All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. God bless you all.